Welcome back to the channel once again, fam. The man charged with murder in the death of Migos rapper Takeoff appeared back in a Houston courtroom on Tuesday morning as his attorneys continue to fight for a lower bond. Mr. Patrick Xavier Clark is being held on a $1 million bond, but he could be out of custody within 24 to 48 hours if his attorneys complete a few more requests coming from Judge Josh Hill. Now, of course, those of you who have been following this from the beginning may remember that his bond was originally set at $2 million, but a judge granted a request to reduce the amount during his last court appearance. However, Clark's defense attorney still says the amount is too high and thinks something around, $300,000 is a little bit more appropriate. If the phrase "is more appropriate" could ever apply to something like this, I guess. But if Hill lowers Clark's bond to that amount, he's expected to be released. And get why. Clark's attorney said the suspect's family is willing to put up their Houston area home as collateral in order to bond him out of jail. In addition, the whole family will co-sign a bond issued by a bondsman if lowered, which Mark Metz, a bail bondsman, says the family has, already taken care of.
Man charged with the murder of Migos rapper Takeoff just appeared before a judge where his attorneys are fighting to have his $1 million bond lowered. KPRC2 reporter Taisha Walker was at that bond hearing and she tells us what's next for Patrick Xavier Clark.
Patrick Clark's attorneys are optimistic that their client will be released from jail later this week. That is, if a judge decides to reduce his bond. During a bond hearing this morning, the judge requested that Clark's passport ID be turned in sometime today. The judge says he'll also draft amended bond condition for Clark's release. Once those two things happen, another hearing will be set for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Clark's attorney is also asking for Clark's $1 million bond to be reduced down to $300,000. She says that his family is also willing to put up their house to prove that Clark will not be a flight risk. His defense team also tried to convince the judge that the court and state can get immediate alerts if Clark tries to tamper with his GPS monitor, just as long as they can use a specific licensed bail bond company. Prosecutors opposed to the state's request, even questioning Clark's assets. Prosecutors say that they believe that Clark has way more money than he stated to the court. Reporting from downtown, Taisha Walker, KPRC 2 News.
Now, this is one of those moments of pure conjecture, if you want to call it that. I'm sure some will call it fact, some will call it fiction immediately, but I am not going to say that this is related by any means, but the timing, you tell me. A few hours after the news broke about the bond hearing and everything, J. Prince Jr., I know you still loving hearing that name, dropped off a few subliminals via Instagram. And by subliminals, you know what, I'll just read it verbatim and I'll let you tell me. So here's what he had to say. Quote, "You can do everything in your power to help ninjas. And as soon as they play themselves off the streets or out of a situation, you the bad guy. You can tell a ninja yes 1,000 times, but they only remember that one time you said no. That's BS. I was taught that a man handle his own business. If you get yourself in trouble, you need to be able to get yourself out of it. What I look like effing up my hard-earned money time and time again on dumb ninjas that make dumb decisions. I never effed your mama, ninja, so stop expecting me to be your daddy." Okay, you know what? I don't even have any clarity or clarification to add to that, because if it ain't about what the obvious, accusation is, then to be perfectly honest, I have no idea who or what it could be about. But I will say that he followed it up with this post, which, as far as I can tell, doesn't have anything to do with it, but it still is one of those, why even go there when you have this kind of status? Quote, "Don't you dare, hey, big head me. Wasn't you just in matching PJs yesterday?" Respectfully. All right, let's not start a trend of ending things with respectfully after you say something that's kind of messed up. I mean, once again, situation provided, but you get the idea. Sometimes I have no clue what I'm actually reading from what people have said, because let's just be real. I don't necessarily know finitely who they're talking about, And some people say stuff that's just, they intend for people to just kind of spin in circles with it. It's one of the most tried and true methods of, diversion tactics. That's why I personally haven't given up on this whole, I guess you could say, gravy train of people saying that the princess definitely has something to do with it. That's exactly why my own investment is still so high. I'm aware of some pretty advanced diversionary tactics, not gonna lie. And, well, it gets harder and harder every time one of them posts something to say that that's not what it is. But again, I ain't pointing no fingers because we know what happens when you do that. So I'll leave it right there and I'll let you guys tell me, what do you make of that whole situation? Because we know what the obvious is. We know those that hate the princess are going to say one thing. We know those that love the princess are going to say another. But let's meet in the middle. Let's be realistic, or at least let's try to.
And Charlie, you talked to his lawyer. What did she say?
Yeah, good morning to you, Jacob. Well, defense attorneys for Patrick Clark are hopeful that he will be released from custody within 24 to 48 hours, so not too long from now. But that is, of course, only going to happen if they fulfill a list of requests now coming from the judge. And so we saw Clark in court just a short time ago, and he appeared again this morning in court 232. And so the whole issue here is over his bond amount, which was initially set at $2 million after he was arrested several weeks ago, and then was lowered to $1 million during his last court appearance. And so his defense attorney says that amount, the $1 million, is still too high. And she says something around $300,000 is more appropriate, also stating that his family is willing to put up their Houston area home as collateral in order for him to bond out of jail. So meanwhile, prosecutors are concerned that Clark isn't being upfront about all of his financial assets. They think that he has way more money than he claims he does. And so the judge is asking for him to turn in his passport card, and also would like to assign Clark a GPS monitoring system through a specific bond company that would immediately notify authorities if bond conditions are violated. So the judge also says that he has concerns over Clark being a potential flight risk. So the defense team says they're going to submit his passport card at some point today, and the judge also requested another hearing to happen tomorrow. But
And you guys give me your opinions down in the comment section below. And while you're there, shameless plug time. If you're enjoying the content that we are bringing you, make sure that you take just a couple of seconds of your time to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and be real gentle, but ding-a-ling-a-ling that bell so that you too can stay up to date with the latest and greatest. Cause that's all we got for you, baby. And with that, we out of here. We've been Dirt TV Celebrity Media. You guys have been great as always. Keep it locked here for the latest stories, the latest breaking news, and the latest updates. And we'll keep providing you with just that. But do me one more small favor between now and the next time. And that's just to simply be safe at all times, reading between the lines. Until then, and we'll see you at that point. Peace.